Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Higurashi When They Cry. This is Arc 3, and we're gonna start with Chapter 3 today. So let's get into it. Curious to see where this goes. I probably have to change the settings again. Yep.
Oh, そうなんだ.
Just quickly do that. Off, on, close. There it is, boys. There it is.
ケイちゃんの親、帰ってきたんだね。
They had to eventually.
栄養剤臭がプンプンして目は充血してて、どうも丸二晩徹夜で相当の修羅場だったらしい。大人は大変だ。
圭一くんのお父さんって画家さんだったかな。画家さんも大変なんだね。そういえばそうでしたわね。一度どんな絵を描くか拝見したいものですわ。
An artist, huh? It's news to me. I had seen a number of watercolor and acrylic paintings on display, but he had been doing some other job too. Just what did Dad do exactly? Now, I'm curious. What prompts you to say something like that? Why do you think he has some other side gig or some other type of works going on? Elaborate on that, please. He didn't let anyone into his workshop after all. I think he has a bunch of bodies in that bitch, to be honest with you. I wanted to sneak a peek one day.
結局、家を開けたのは二晩？短い攻略期間だったね。で、ケイちゃんは異中のキャラを攻略できたのかな？
The fuck are you talking about, Mion?
両親不在はギャルゲー主人公の基本だしね。
Excuse me?
好感度をいっぱい稼いでちゃんとフラグが立ちましたですよ。
There were 0 flags raised during these 2 days, let me tell you that. I have no idea what the fuck any of you are talking about.
じゃあこれで圭一くんももう自炊しなくてもよくなっちゃったんだね。
Why would you say that?
ゆうべは何を作ったのかな
Oh, you know, scraps of cat food? In the end, I didn't make a single thing myself.
ゆうべは野菜炒めを。
おお、ケイちゃんも少しは料理らしいものを作れるようになったじゃない。
野菜炒めを作ったんだね。
But is it really that advanced to make vegetable stir fry? I wouldn't assume so.
美味しくできたかなレナさん、暑苦しいですわよ。なんで私にベタベタくっつきますの？美味しいご飯に仲良くお皿を洗いっこなのです。いいの暑苦しいと言ってますのよ。
え？何の話？
Nothing. Mion, utterly confused, asked me for clarification, but I just barely, albeit transparently, averted my eyes.
そうそう。
Right.
みんなさ、今日の午後に予定はあるかい？
Yes.
ないよね。あるわけないよね。
Today was Saturday. Oh, what the fuck am I doing in school? The beautiful day on which we were liberated from the confines of school in the afternoon. Actually, the school in Hinamizawa had slightly different Saturday than those in the city. There were a lot of students who brought a bento, ate at lunch, and then went to play in the school or around the schoolyard. You could say that the entire school turned into a children's playground. There were mountains behind the school, and if you went down that way, you would find mountain streams. You could avoid the strong sunlight and make conversation in the classroom if you wanted to too. You could also play hide and seek in the construction pipes. I get it, motherfucker, you can do whatever the fuck you wish. Of course, you were free to go home as well. Would I be free to not go to school to begin with? There were some kids who went home and helped water the fields or tended the stores. If Mion was bringing up afternoon like this, then it must have been for some crazy big club event. However, sadly, I had something I needed to do before taking part in whatever it was.
お仕事ですか？ついてないのです。 何の仕事でございましょうね。お父さんの画家の仕事のお手伝いとか。お父さんの絵のモデルになるとか。モデル？ヌード？
What the fuck? What's wrong with y'all? I looked into Rena's eyes and saw myself completely naked in a questionable pose with a single rose in my mouth.
ないない。
My man turned German all of a sudden.
それだけは100万積まれても絶対にない。
To get rid of Rena's delusions, I grabbed her head and swung it from side to side.
やめて。
とまあ愉快な妄想は置いといてだ。とにかく俺にはちょっとお昼に仕事がある。それが終わってからの合流でいいなら OK だぞ。
お昼に仕事？おお、そりゃなんだかかっこよさげじゃない。なになに？ひょっとして各界の VIP との会食？ビジネスランチとか？
実に悲しいことだが正解だ。
Everyone shouts wildly, surprised. It was true. Today, I would be on the job with my family. For my dad's job, he was having about 10 people from the publishing agency over for a house party. He called people from work for a party the day after having stayed up to 2 nights in a row. I'm actually amazed at their vitality. Adults have it pretty rough. Of course, it would be incredibly uncomfortable for me. It would be really tiring to have to force myself to smile at some old dudes I didn't know. But they were my dad's important business connections, so offending them would be bad. Well, with all that said, it was going to get very uncomfortable for me today, starting at lunch.
これは利発そうなお子さんで。
Bitch, I'm just smiling.
具足の圭一です。圭一、こちらは出版社の本田さんだ。そしてこちらは印刷会社の井上さん。ご挨拶しなさい。
Hellos.
どうもこんにちは。息子の圭一です。父がいつもお世
Your
話にな
hellos.
っております。
圭一くんもお父さんのように絵は描かれるのですか？圭一くんの絵もぜひ拝見したいな。
My dad has such a brazen occupation, that of an artist. Although I don't really know what kind of things he creates. I don't really care, and don't want to see anyway. Dad's so tight-fisted about it, so he doesn't show them to me very often anyway. I'm not a kid anymore, so I wouldn't care at all if they were pictures of naked ladies or anything.
圭一くんもお父さんに指示してしっかり勉強すれば、きっとお父さんのような
Listen,
素晴
sir.
らしい作家になれますからね。
Listen, sir, I don't give a shit.
ここだけの話ですけど、親父ってそんなにすごい画家なんですか？
I readied myself and whispered my question. It might have seemed odd for his son to be asking this, but when I did, he gave me this really strange grin and tightly clamped down onto my shoulders.
ええ、
Get the fuck out of here with your exclamation marks.
それはもう本当に素晴らしい作家さんなんですよ。
そうですか。
What do you like about them? The amount of money they bring in?
それはよかった。
購入制限はないし、ファンサービスはするし、
Fan service?
ファンレターには必ずお返事をくれるし、世間のニーズもちゃんと汲み取っていて研究熱心。靴下は脱がしたら絶対に NG。
What? Why is he talking about my socks all of a sudden?
それはメガネや制服だって同じなんですよ。そこを前原先生はよく理解している。イベントは参加ごとに必ず壁で大行列だし。
すみません。絵ってのは壁に飾るものじゃないんですか？
そんなことはない。それは誰もが島中から始めるんです。そして島角、大通りの島角と階段を登って、
The fuck are you talking about?
そして至る頂点が壁なんです。あなたもぜひ前原先生と合体で出展できるような大作家になってくださいね。
Leave me alone.
応援していますよ。
Oh my god. It's fine to have a lot of passion for the things you like, but I didn't get it. But it seemed like that the world of art ran pretty deep. It was probably a much deeper world than I could have ever imagined. I decided to leave it at that. Then I realized that my mom was calling me from the other side of the room.
ケイチ、電話よ。お友達から。
A lucky break. Maybe I could get out of this uncomfortable business party by using a friend's phone call as an excuse. I scampered over to the front door and snatched up the receiver that my mom had left there.
もしもし、俺。
もしもし俺なんて挨拶はございませんですわよ、ケイチさん。もう少し言葉遣いをお勉強なさいませ。
What the fuck? I was of the opinion that the person speaking to me had a far stranger way of talking.
なんだ、サトコじゃねえか。
Does she think that I'm her actual Nini? She needs to relax.
お前が俺のところに電話してくるなんて珍しい。
のんきなことを言ってる場合ではありませんのよ。それよりもケイチさん、あなたいつになったらこっちに来れますの？
悪い、こっちもなんだか長引いちゃってさ、なかなか解放してもらえないんだよ。俺も早く部活に加わりたいんだけどさ。
違いますですわよ、ケイチさん。
What?
今日は部活ではありませんわ。
Oh.
実践ですのよ。
What? Satoko's voice was different from normal. I could feel the urgency in it drifting through the phone. I thought she was talking about the dinner at her place or, you know.
実践？なんだか穏やかな話じゃないな。どういう状況なんだ？
詳しくは後からの説明にいたしますわ。とにかく絶対的な危機なんですの。このままでは負けてしまうでございますわ。
What on earth was going on? Could it have been a fight? I didn't know who they were, but laying a hand on someone from Hinamizawa was absolutely a terrible idea.
わかった。すぐに火星に行くぜ。場所はどこだ？
沖宮小学校のグラウンドですわ。駅まで来れば看板があるからわかりますですわよ。とにかく大急ぎですの。
The school campus. The situation could have a lot of people involved. Could it have turned into an all-out brawl? Who was the enemy here anyway? Oh, I'm on fire.
わかった。すぐ行く。武器も持って行った方がいいか。金属バットでも持っていくか。
Like Satoshi would use.
金属バットをお持ちですの？それは心強いですわよ。お待ち申し上げておりますですわ。
The call cut off abruptly. So there are bits and pieces that get added on from the previous chapters. Like they referenced the curry battle. They referenced the metal bat just now. And I'm pretty sure there were some other references as well, but...
お、ケイイチ、探したんだぞ。こちらの出口さんがな、ぜひ次のコピー紙で。
Who the fuck is the Gucci-san?
そんなことよりバットないかな。金属バットなければ長物なら何でもいいや。
長ければ何でもいいなら、父さんのゴルフクラブが物置にあるぞ。
It didn't have the same kind of impact, but a golf club was a splendid weapon too. It was lighter than a baseball bat and maybe easier for me to use.
サンキュー。それ借りるよ。俺ちょっと友達のところに行かなきゃならない用事ができちゃったんだ。ごめん。
ケイ、待ちなさい。
I grabbed a golf club, jumped on my bike, and headed straight for town. Wait for me, Satoko. I'll be right there. Just hold out until then. This guy. I didn't actually know where Okonomiya's elementary was exactly, but Satoko's phone call seemed to demand urgency, so I rushed out without asking her how to get there. But if I went to the station, there would be signs. At least, I feel like that's what she said. Then I heard the jingling of a bicycle bell from behind me.
こんにちはなの。
おう、リカちゃんか。
This is a setup.
ケイチ、早かったです。いっぱい急いだですね。
Damn. This isn't the time to be out of breath. I need to hurry.
すまん。沖宮小学校ってのはどこだ？
ご案内しますです。ついてくるですよ。
Rika-chan rode off on her bike. I followed her.
急にさとこに呼び出されたんだが、一体どういうことになってるんだ？
はじめはこちらが優勢だったのです。ところが途中から向こうが助っ人を入れてきたのです。ズルなのです。
A helper? What cowards. Calling for reinforcements the moment they realized they would lose. Do you think that she's referring to you, mate?
みんなバッ ったバッタと打ち取られましたのです。
Maybe
た
not.
だ立たないのですよ。
Sounds like they were pretty strong.
とにかく詳しい話は後だ。時間がないんだろう。急いでくれ。
お任せなのです。
With Rika-chan leading the way, we headed straight for the elementary school grounds. I asked Rika-chan something during that time. It seemed that all of the club members besides me were a part of this fight. Damn, so what Mion was trying to tell everyone was that this would happen? If I had known that, I would have just ditched my family job. But it was too late for regrets. According to Rika-chan, we had a one-sided advantage at the start, but our angry foes had brought in a powerful ally. The club members put up a resistance and went against him one by one, but apparently they couldn't stand up to him.
部活メンバー総がかりで勝てない？一体そりゃどんな化け物なんだ。
すごいのです。敵は正統派なのですよ。
Orthodox. So they weren't using thuggish brawling tactics, but actually had studied karate or something? Is that what you meant?
もう圭一だけが頼みの綱なのですよ。
Okinomiya Elementary came into view. I could hear many voices raising hell over there.
ミオン、レナ、サトコ、今行くからな。俺がまとめてぶっ潰してやるぜ。
There were a lot of bicycles left out in front of the school. I left mine there next to them in the same way. I could tell there were a lot of people flooding the campus. Were there two armies in the midst of a huge no-holds-barred brawl? I took my golf club in hand. Whoosh! I swung it. I felt the sensation of it sticking firmly into my palm. Great. The feedback wasn't bad. I'm gonna go all out with this thing. I dashed at breakneck speed to the school gate, swinging it around.
ついてこい、リカちゃん。男前原圭一のバンプ不当な大活躍を見せてやるぜ。
ああ、圭一がとても頼もしいのです。ゴルフクラブで大暴れなのです。
Rika-chan applauded me, though a little dryly, lauding my valiance. The manly Keiichi Maebara put it behind him and headed for the place where he may die.
でも圭一、どうして今日はゴルフクラブなのですか？
仕方ないだろ。俺も最初はバットの方がいいと思ったんだが、うちってバットなくってさ、素手よりははるかにマシだと思って、せめてゴルフクラブを持ってきたんだ。
偉いのですよ。圭一をなでなでしてあげますです。ゴルフクラブで大暴れが楽しみなのですよ。
Despite the emergency situation, Rika-chan reached up and stroked me on the head.
おい、ふざけてる場合かよ。え？
Just then, an extremely loud metallic sound rang out and I heard many people cheering.
レフト、あー抜けた。回れ
You idiot.
二塁いけるぞ、二塁。
センター、落ち着いて。三塁へ送って。
The center fielder caught the ball and after a brief pause, sent it flying to the third base. If he had pitched it wildly, it might get there. He gave up on second and threw it to the third with time to spare. The instructions from the bench, they were solid. Wait, what?
あ、圭一くん来てくれたよ。さとこちゃん、圭一くん来てくれたよ。遅すぎですわ。油を売るのはガソリンスタンドだけで十分でございますのよ。
What? That's corny.
その前原君って子は本当に助っ人になれるんですか？
Who's this bitch?
相手はあの強豪校のエース左腕の亀田君ですよ。
Am I supposed to know Irie?
甲子園クラスの投手を打ち崩せるなんて一体どんな助っ人なんです？
I don't like this guy.
大丈夫です。圭一くんならきっと逆転させてくれますよ。本当に頼もしい人なんです。
What? He's the pinch hitter we brought in to take out left arm Kameda with his bullet fastball? The one who had a no-hit, no-run game after another during the regional qualifiers, the undefeated demon pitcher of Ushima. The super high school level pitcher that had already been marked by professional scouts. He's going to win against him?
あんなヘナチョコピッチャーなんか圭一さんには目じゃないですのよ。 あんな玉楽勝でバックスクリーンを起こしてくださいますわ。
There was a slugger like that in this prefecture? I had no idea. He must have gone under the radar. Hey! That scout stood up. Hey! Take a picture. His full name is Keiichi Maibara. Look him up in the database and send his history to our office.
どれが前原圭一だ？写真。
A whole lot of sports journalists led by Satoko gripped their cameras tightly and searched for the rumored Keiichi Maibara. As for me, I was so dazed at what was happening that I was frozen in place with my golf club up in the air.
ケイチさんこっちですわよ。
The camera people stared at me through their viewfinders, and just like I had, they turned to stone. In the hands of their gallant pinch hitter, Keiichi Maibara was a golf club. Nobody could seem to understand why I was holding something like this, and at this point, neither did I. Cheap. A cold, greasy sweat dripped from me. The first one to break the inordinately awkward silence was Rena.
ケイチくん、
I don't know.
おう。
一つ聞いてよろしいですの？
Only one. Please. Please do not. Psychic waves of my entreaty flowed out of my face along with my sweat. It somehow seemed to reach the two of them. Listen, Satoko said a battle, okay? She said she did not utter a single word of baseball, alright? The deathly quiet reporters all parted as Moses once parted the sea. But Moses probably didn't go through the parted seas this quietly.
野球の試合なら初めからそう言え。
私言いませんでした？
Nope.
第一バット持ってグラウンドに来いって言ったら野球以外に何を思いつくわけですの？というか何をどう間違ったらゴルフクラブを持ってくるって発想になるわけでございますの？きっとね暗いムードになったチームを明るくして盛り上げようとしてケイチくんがわざとやってくれたんだと思うな。
Whatever floats your boat, fam.
思うな。
Rena smiled bitterly and covered for me with all her might.
ケイチはゴルフが大好きなのですよ。なでなで。
Rika-chan started patting my head, a broad grin on her face all the while. I pushed her hand away, grabbed her from behind by her suspenders, and picked her up like a kitten.
リカちゃん。
Hey, that's what you get for snitching on her.
なんでさっき駅で会った時野球だって教えてくれなかったんだよ。そうすりゃ赤っ端を書かずに済んだのに。
みぱ
Rika-chan's smile was like the sun, so incredibly innocent. She's glowing. When I saw Rika-chan's radiant smile, I couldn't help but feel like I could forgive anything she did. However, if Rika-chan actually thought I would, then she would have another thing coming.
というわけでこれはお仕置きだ。レナ。
み
Rika-chan still plucked up in my hand, I offered her to Rena. That's right. The kittenified Rika-chan sent Rena's voltage into overcharge.
はうもらったレナがもらったんだよ。はうかいいよ。
Ah, Speedy. Rena stuck out her tongue like a chameleon and preyed upon Rika-chan while spinning her around.
リカちゃんかい。リカちゃんかい。はうみ
Rena held her tight as a vice and began to get her fill of rubbing her cheek into Rika-chan's. Their cheeks rubbed together tightly. I don't give a what? Rika-chan's face, it looked like it was being crushed by Rena's.
何があったかは存じませんけど、リカが自業自得のようですわね。
ああ、俺も最近ようやくリカちゃんがただ可愛いだけじゃないとさと。
ケイチくんに許可をもらったんだよ。お持ち帰り。
For the moment, I just gave her a 3-minute timeout.
ところで貞子、緊急の呼び出しってのは野球ってことなのか？
ええ、そうですわ。ご家族でホームパーティーだったんですって。悪いことをしましたわね。でもこういう時は家族よりも仲間の危機の方が最優先と決まっていますのよ。
I felt like that's what I was supposed to be saying, not you. Well, it was just a business party for my dad, I guess. I honestly felt glad to be called out here.
それでその危機的状況というのはどんな具合なんだ？6対7ってことは負けてるのがうちのチームってことか。ん？9回の裏で2アウト？なんだこの試合もうほとんど終わりかけてるじゃないかよ。
圭一さんがもっと早く来ればもう少し余裕がありましたのよ。ここまで引き伸ばすのにどれだけ苦労したとお思いですの？
分かったよ悪かったよ。で俺の仕事はなんだ？ピンチヒットならば任せろ。こう見えても俺引っ越す前は結構バッティングセンターに通ってたんだぞ。親父が憂さ晴らしに行く時よく付き合わされてさ、ミートバッティングだったらそこそこの自信が。
A tremendous sound rang out, the likes of which I had never heard before. The catcher's mitt trembled, sending up a light cloud of dust, telling me the tremendous sound had come from the ball.
ちょっと待ておい、今の凄まじい剛速球は一体なんだ？
驚いた？うん。あれ、本物の甲子園ピッチャーなんだよ。スポーツ新聞でも有名な高校野球のエース。
悪いけど知らん。で、ミオン！お前、なんだよその格好は！
What do you mean? Mion showed up, and to my surprise, she was all wrapped up in bandages. Where? Just what on earth happened? Like, maybe the other sprites have some bandages? Oh my god.
途中から来た圭一君には最初から説明がいるよね。
お、なんだ？リカちゃんはもういいのか？
可愛いのいっぱい楽しいんだよ。ほよほよでやわやわでふにふに。はあ、ほっぺだけでご飯3杯はいける。みー、もうお嫁に行けないのです。
Why? I wonder how Rika-chan's cheeks taste if you eat them 3 times a day. It almost flipped my own delusion switch, but I put a stop to it using logic. I was an adult. Were you?
じゃあ説明を頼む。何をどう間違えたらこんな草野球対決に甲子園ピッチャーのリリーフが登場するんだ。
Everyone exchanged glances. Then, Rena spoke for all of them.
うん、最初はね、普通の野球対決だったの。
Hinamizawaファイターズと沖宮タイタンズはささやかながらも因縁の対決でさ、今回もささやかに大盛り上がりしてたわけ。
まあ平たく言えば学校対決ですわね。
Intramural match? What the hell?
Hinamizawaと沖宮の学校の因縁試合なんですの。因縁って言ってもまあ和気あいあいとしたものなんだけどね。
で、それになんでうちの部活メンバーが参加してるん？ユニフォームを着てるやつもいれば私服のやつもいるし、そもそも俺たちって野球部ってわけじゃないだろう。
つまり、割といい加減なの。
今日たまたまチームに欠員が出たって言うんでさ、それじゃあせっかくだからって言って急遽私たちが乱入することになったってわけよ。
I see. So if there weren't enough members, anyone could come to the rescue, whether a boy or girl, no matter what grade they were in. That jumbled together feeling was the hallmark of our school.
リカちゃんに聞いた話だと、最初のうちは押しまくってたらしいじゃないか。
2位はすごいバッターなのですよ。右へ左へホームランなのです。
Mion proudly stuck out her chest. Doing so seemed to hurt her somehow, and she groaned pathetically.
ええ、ミオンさんが登場するたびに走者一掃の大ホームランが飛び出すんですの。 さとこと違ってちゃんとバットにボールが当たるのですよ。
Ouch.
いいかみ
まあなんとなく話は分かった。あの甲子園ピッチャーが登場するまでは楽勝ムードだったというわけだ。
そういうこと。
Why did the game show me that idiot dude?
序盤は完全にうちのチームの流れでね、点にはならないまでもガンガン出塁して攻めまくってたんだけどね。
たまたまね、今日の試合にあの亀田くんが見物に来てたの。
Ushima was apparently a fairly well-known school in our prefecture that frequently sent people to Koshien. And this man, known as the ace of their baseball team, Kameda, seemed to be quite skilled. Now that I thought about it, it was certainly strange to see cameramen with journalist armbands here to watch a casual baseball game out in the sticks like this.
亀田は小さい頃沖宮タイタンズにいたことがあるのだそうです。
話は見えてきたでしょ。昔のチームが劣勢になって、つまりそれで飛び入りでリリーフ登板することになって、もうバッタバッタよ。出塁はおろか、ファールも打てないありさまなわけ。
でも甲子園ピッチャーの乱入なんて草野球の試合でずるいですわよ。
All the boys wearing the Hinamizawa fighters uniform were hanging their heads in disappointment. I knew almost all of their faces. Isn't everyone here a classmate? Oh, I see. We're the only school in Hinamizawa after all. So, how much do you have to suck at baseball for you not to be aware of this prior to the game? I mean, at least have a little trial, you know. Nobody even talked about the game with you. We got a big game against Okinomiya, man. Nope, nothing.
富田君に岡村君じゃないか。
Even those two.
君たちも野球チームだったのか。
前原さん。
His uniform was brand new and not very dirty, fresh off the presses. I could see handmade banners with the names written on them in the grandstands. I see. Their families came to root for them in their debut game today.
岡村のバットは今日のためにお父さんがプレゼントしてくれたそうなのですよ。
You would think that they would speak about their debut in our presence, right? The brand new bat sparkled. With that kind of present, a man just has to perform well.
いっぱい今日のために素振りとかしてきましたのよ。富田さんに流行りすぎて手の皮が抜けちゃって、ほら気の毒に。
How did he manage to do that? His torn hand looked like it hurt, but from that injury, you could sense his backbone. I get it, guys. You want to make your big moment a good one. The savior of the Okonomiya Titans, we could hear the sounds of this Kameda-kun's tremendous fastball practice. This was no joke. It was definitely on a level far above the high school kids. But at his level, he clearly shouldn't have been interrupting a grass-lot game, grudge match though it may have been. He should have understood how much better he was too.
あいつ、こいつら相手にも本気で投げやがったのか。
うん。レナはこんなの大人げないと思う。
Rena's eyes grew harsh. It took a lot to get Rena mad. As for Tomita-kun and Okumura-kun, they were sniffling, fighting back tears. We heard another tremendous noise from the mitt. I turned around and this left-arm Kameda Gai-kun was looking at us and grinning boldly.
というわけよ。こうなったらやるしかないでしょ。実戦態勢で。
ああ、どうやら本気で行くしかないな。
でね、本気で行ってみたの。それでみーちゃんが大自爆して。
How? Mion, embarrassed, scratched her head, then a moment later doubled over in pain.
自爆って一体何をどう自爆したらこんなに大怪我できるんだ？
Smells like foul play to me.
説明するととてつもなく長いですわね。一つ言えるのはここまでして戦果なしということくらいですわね。
ここまで体を張ったのに1点も入れられないなんて。
せっかくの秘策も台無しでかわいそかわいそなのです。
I couldn't even imagine what sort of secret plan it was, but it must have been crazy enough to get her that badly hurt.
でもまあ失敗したおかげでまだ野球でいられるんだろ。
ちょっとみーちゃんの奥の手は野球らしくなかったと思うかな。こうなっては仕方ないでございましょう。ここは正々堂々野球らしく決着をつけるしかないということですわ。
So let's get to it.
そうそう、野球らしく蹴りをつけないとね。
Completely unnecessary, but okay. I think normal people would have given up and gone for a frontal attack. But as a member of our club, I wasn't about to accept that so easily.
野球らしくってのが引っかかるぞ。野球らしく見えれば手段ってことだろ。
私たちの部の新庄だしね。そういうことですわね。手段を選ばないことこそ我が部の美徳でございましたよ。
Rena and Satoko laughed at each other delightfully. It wasn't really a virtue we could brag about, but the best thing about our club was that we never rolled over and gave up.
でもカメラがずらーりといるからなかなかズルはできないのです。
Rika-chan spread her arms wide, indicating the array of reporters in the bleachers. She was right. With all those cameramen watching us through the cameras with giant telephone lenses... What? Foul play would be fairly tough.
そうそう、それがネックだったんだよ。これだけの囚人監視があるとなかなか大胆な手が取れないし。いてててててて。
みーちゃんの手は決しておしとやかだとは思わなかったけどな。
Satoko and Rika-chan both nodded behind Rena.
じゃあここで本題に戻るぞ。今我がチームは1点差で負けてるんだよな。
しかももう9回の裏でアウトも2個取られちゃってるの。
おじさんの作戦がうまくいってれば今頃は満塁のはずなんだけどな。
失敗した作戦を嘆いても始まりませんですのよ。へこたれず次の手を打ってこそ我が部でございましたよ。
Satoko said eagerly, trying to cheer up the downcast Mion whose secret plan had failed. It may have failed, but Satoko still seemed to have another.
サトコがなかなか威勢がいいじゃないか。ってことは何か奥の手があるってことか。
ケイチ君、この子を誰だと思ってるのかな。さとこちゃんだよ。北条さとこちゃん。
That was right. We called her Trap Master Satoko, didn't we? She would ensnare her opponent at the perfect moment, the very end. Everyone in our club knew that we could never, ever let our guards down against Satoko.
私が仕込んだとはいえ末恐ろしく成長してくれたもんだよ。僅差を制することに関しては私でも舌を巻く時があるね。
ちなみに次の打者がミーでその次の打者がさとこなのです。
We were losing by 1 point, so if we could get the next runner on a base, then the runner after that could hit a big one and end the match. And that final batter was Satoko?
ねえ、勝てそうな気がしてきたでしょ。
どういう仕掛けか想像もつかんが、絶対何かの罠だと断言で、俺が敵のピッチャーなら絶対に敬遠だ。
There was no way Satoko was going to hit a home run, even in my dreams. But if she was going to stand in the batter's box normally without any kind of plan, I can't think of anything else she could do.
そのサトコが俺を呼び出した。なるほど、読めてきたぜ。
It meant that I was a necessary piece of Satoko's trap.
ワクワクするね。さとこちゃんどんなことをするのかな。僕もさとこのさよならホームランが楽しみなのです。
そのためにはケイちゃんの働きが欠かせない。わかるね。これが逆転の最後のチャンス。 絶対に失敗できない。
おう、分かってるぜそんなこと。見てろ、俺とサトコででっかい大逆転を拝ませてやるぜ。
ではケイチさん、これから手順を説明しますわ。ちょっとお耳を拝借しましたよ。
Satoko and I huddled up in a hidden place and held a briefing that anyone watching could easily tell was suspicious.
前原さんと北条は何を話してるんだろう。委員長みたいにとんでもない奥の手で自爆しないことを祈るよ。
Our teammates Tomita-kun and Okumura-kun seemed very nervous. Rena gave them a wide smile, trying to dispel their anxiety.
大丈夫だよみんな。さとこちゃんとケイチくんならきっとやり遂げてくれるから。
でも龍吾さん、相手は甲子園級のピッチャーなんですよ。いくら北条が得意の罠にはめようとしても。
まあみんな黙って見てなって。面白いゲームが見られるからね。
Mion, who knew everything about to transpire, looked like she was having a hard time stifling the laughter bubbling up within her. She was so terrifying as an enemy, but so reliable as an ally. Mion waved her hands at the umpire.
代打が出ます。私、園崎美音に代わって前原圭一で。
本当に彼で大丈夫なんですか？
The umpire turned an uneasy gaze on the pinch hitter who had jumped in with a golf club.
ケイチくんは甘く見ない方がいいですよ。
The members of our club were the only ones grinning with a wholehearted confidence. Satoko's plan was definitely simple, but scrupulous. It even looked like the entire situation had gone according to her calculations. The fact that we were losing by 1 point. The fact that I had come late. The fact that Satoko was the last batter. It even felt kind of like this had been set up before the game started. There had been a long timeout since I got here. And during that time, the opposing pitcher Kameda-kun took a bathroom break. Even that felt calculated. No, this is Satoko we're talking about, so maybe... Now, there was something at the end of last chapter. I'm thinking about Arc 2. When, what was it now? Rena and Mion... No, that wasn't it, was it? Was it at the end of the first arc in that case? When Mion said something about a director. I mean, if it feels set up, then a director would do a terrific job of setting this up. And maybe that idiot guy, hey! Maybe she gave him a laxative somehow. Calculated to get him to use the bathroom at this exact moment. And while he was having a long way off, shut up in the bathroom, our plan would begin. The opposing pitcher, Kameda-kun, there he was. Was this, the place where Shion works? In front of the urinal, pleasantly taking care of business. He thought it was only natural he would win at a grass lot game like this, and relaxed enough to relieve himself without a care in the world. Maybe that's how he wanted to appear. However, his relaxed state was itself our chance. Right now, you've already conceded to our club. I too casually walked into the bathroom. There were 3 urinals. Kameda-kun was doing his business at the farthest one. I went to the one next to him. Normally, you would leave one urinal open. Kameda-kun seemed to notice me. I had stood right next to him after all.
なんだ誰かと思えば大
He recalled seeing me swing the golf club around like an idiot, and he couldn't seem to resist the urge to laugh. I, however, wasn't frustrated in the slightest. The match had already been won the moment I arrived. The game had been decided as a big upset for our team. So now, all I had to do was push things along exactly how Satoko planned. I'm the one who should be laughing.
圭一くん、うまくやれるかな？大丈夫でしたよ。
What do you want me to do? Shank him?
本気の圭一さんならこんなの朝飯前ですわ。
Tomita-kun and Okumura-kun, our underclassmen, asked another question with much trepidation.
本当に前原さんはあのピッチャーを攻略できるんですか？
あんたたちケイちゃんと同じクラスで生活してて何にも感じないわけ？彼はね、ゆくゆくはあの力で世界を制するかもしれない。ケイちゃんと組めば世界制覇は容易だな。
Why would Mion say that about me? Our teammates exchanged glances. Did Maibara-senpai really have such incredible strength? Just what kind of strength could that be? My question caused Kamada-kun to stare in bewilderment, and for a moment, he didn't know what the fuck to say.
悪い。ちょっとよく聞こえなかった。もう一度言ってくれるか？
I smiled thinly, looked straight ahead, and said it once more, clearly.
もう一度だけ言う。俺たちを勝たせろ。
Right to the point. No threats, or beating around the bush, or anything. Kamada's brain couldn't figure out the meaning of what I had said, and I could clearly tell he was confused.
バカも休み休み。俺たちを勝たせろだ。お前正気か？
俺からの要求は伝えた。返事はどっちだ？イエスかノーか？
そんなの迷うまでもない。誰がお前らを勝たせるもんか。
I like this Kamada guy.
お前の頭は少し変じゃないのか？
Kamada didn't hide his bewilderment. He didn't want to be around someone who would babble on like this for another second. Those thoughts spilled into his expression, and he quickly moved to leave the bathroom.
亀田君、君にとって勝利は何だ？
決まってる。尊く絶対的で至上目的だ。それは他の何にも変えられない。
He grinned lightly as he answered as if to make fun of me.
スポーツマンらしい返事だな。勝利こそ絶対。何にも変えられないってわけだ。
そんなのは当たり前だろ。どんな脅しにも買収にも勝利を放棄させるような対価は存在しない。
I was waiting for those words. I, after spinning around 3.5 times, pointed right at Kameda's face.
ならば聞くべきじゃないのか？それほど尊い勝利を放棄させるに値する。どんな対価が提供されるのかを。
何よバカなことを。そんなもの存在するわけがない。
He was denying it, but he stopped. He stopped. He was waiting. He was waiting for me to present some attractive conditions.
君は雑誌のインタビューに好物は焼肉で嫌いなものは甘いものだと答えたらしいが、それは嘘じゃないのかい？
何？
例えば君が焼肉食い放題に行ったとする。君が皿に持ってくるのは一体何だ？ロースか？カルビか？牛タンの山か？違うよな。君が持ってくるのは肉じゃない。食い放題のプリンやゼリーやケーキなのだ。女の子が喜びそうな綺麗で可愛らしくて愛くるしい、そんな洋菓子が大好きなんだよな。
Kameda's face turned utterly pale. Our club already knew that he ate a mountain of desserts when he went to the grilled meat buffet. And we were all well aware of his embarrassment at his weakness for sweets despite his age. Kameda-kun couldn't possibly have known that the particular grilled meat buffet in Shishibone was owned by a member of the Sonozaki family. And I'll have to be careful when I go out to eat with my parents from now on.
俺が好きなのは豪快な骨付きの。違う。
お前が好きなのは色とりどりのクリームで優しく優しく可愛らしく盛り付けられたデザートなのだ。
Fuck is this conversation right now?
まるでフリルやリボンで飾り付けられた無垢な汚れを知らぬ少女を連想させる、そんな透き通った少女のような可愛いデザートをニキビだらけの欲望丸出しのスポーツ狩りが怪我するようにバリバリとむしゃむしゃと。うわー、言うなー。そうだ、お前はデザートを食べてめでているんじゃない。怪我し蹂躙ししゃぶり尽くしているだけ。お前はデザートを怪我して楽しんでいるだけなんだ。
What the actual fuck?
もうダメだ。知られてしまった。俺の密かな楽しみが知られてしまった。もう生きていけない。死ぬしか死ぬしか。バカ野郎、命を粗末にするな。
I hit him on the side of his head as hard as I could. Kamada-kun fell down like a girl. His eyes started watering and he broke down.
こんな変なことを考えてデザートを食べているのは、俺は爽やかなスポーツマンのふりをした隠れスケベなんだ。
そうだ、お前はスケベだ。
This time, I didn't hit him. Instead, I clapped my hands down onto his shoulders.
わめくな亀だ。男がスケベで何が悪い。
Dun dun.
男はすべからくスケベだ。だがそれを認めるか否かで男の器は天と地の差を持つのだ。お前は自分に素直だった。それを自慢していい、威張っていい。自分を誇りに思え。
Instead of blaming him, I told him to have pride in himself, and Kamada-kun couldn't hide his confusion.
そうだ、そして俺はお前に感銘を受けたのだ。デザートはただ単に食後に食べる甘いもの。今までずっとそう思ってた。お前がそれを教えてくれたんだ。お前に出会ったおかげで俺明日から同じデザートを一味も二味も違った味わい方ができるようになるだろう。例えばいちごのショートケーキ。
Strawberry shortcake. Kamada's throat cried out.
いちごのショートケーキの地味さは、そうだ、どこか古風なロックメーカー華やかなりし頃の正統派のメイドを思わせる。スカートが短いこびた近代メイドじゃないぞ。
What?
正統派の清掃の本格派。
いちごしかありません。こんなものしかご用意できませんが、どうかご賞味くださいませ。
そういうつつましやかさがいいよな。
ご賞味くださいませ。
燃える。
What?
燃え。
いちごしかないからこそ柔らかく主張したクリームのデコレーションはさしずめ、フリルやレース、シシ、それを上品な貴族のご主人様のようにフォークで切り分け、いやいや、それを下劣に油汗を浮かせた悪のご主人様のようにしゃぶりつくところがワイルドなのか。
What the fuck am I playing right now, bro?
いや、それよりイチゴを取った後のくぼみの方がイケてるよな。そこに舌を這わせたら、ああ、それってどんな味なんだよ。
いちごを取った後のくぼみ。
俺もう辛抱できないや。
Pause, hold what in?
帰りはエンジェルモートでショートケーキを開けるまで見つめて。 俺のためだけに美しく着飾った少女たちを身を寄せ合って震える少女たちを一人ずつ順番一つ食べるごとに、次はどの子にしようかと顎をこうふいと持って
What? Keiichi-kun seems to be talking about cake combination platters, emphasis mine.
めでるように顎をこうクイッと持って。
Has there ever been a man such as this who could speak so passionately about a single piece of strawberry shortcake? No, there has not. There has never been, I say. Such passionate feelings are trying to melt away in the stubbornness in Kameda's mind?
カメダ、もう一度だけ言う。俺たちを勝たせろ。ならもういい。お前には頼まん。
I rejected Kameda outright and turned on my heel.
もういいや。この試合は負けだ負け。もうこんな試合どうで。そんなことより試合が終わったらエンジェルモートに行ってフリルとリボンで西洋人形のように飾られた美少女たち食い放題で行こうかな。今夜は豪華に徹底的に食い散らかしじゃい。
食い放題。
Thud. Despite this being the bathroom, Kameda-kun put both his hands on the floor. I was wrong.
俺が間違ってました。
どうした亀田君、言いたいことがあるならはっきりと言え。
こんなあなたみたいな人に出会ったのは初めてです。俺は今まで自分はどこか変じゃないかとずっと思って。
何を躊躇するか歪償が。さっき言ったはずだ。認めるか否かが男の分岐路なのだ。貴様は胸を張れるべき男。さあ手を差し出せ。自らの偉大さを示してみろ。
Jesus, Mary and Joseph, bro.
俺と一緒に俺たちの世界を認めるんだ。
Kameda-kun was crying tears of gratitude, unable to speak. That was the moment we exchanged the most zealous handshake the world has ever known. The handshake of the bond of our souls. Ardent and intense, tight and steadfast. For a long time, we remained that way. It was an enthusiastic handshake, as though we were two brothers separated at birth, embracing each other tightly, as though it would give us back the time we had spent apart. That was the moment the man who would pass into legend for eating so much during Angel Moore's all-you-can-eat dessert day that he was banned from the restaurants forever when I was born. But so suck my dick, this fucking sentence is trash! He would eventually write in his autobiography that our meeting this day was fate. But none of that had anything to do with this.
じゃあ後でな。とりあえず試合は今話した通りの手はずで頼むぜ。
With just that, I turned on my heel and made to leave the bathroom. But then Kameda-kun stopped me.
待ってくれ。せめてあんたの名前を聞かせてくれ。
Idiot.
俺か？俺の名は前原圭一。いや。
I kind of didn't feel like using my real name. Anyway, maybe I should lie to him and use a code name.
俺のことはケイと呼べ。
ケイ。
Shut the fuck up. Wait, was that actually an embarrassing name? I left the bathroom behind me at a quick pace, hiding my embarrassment. But from what I heard later, I apparently looked quite gallant coming out like that.
さとこより圭一さんへ。 守備はどうでございましたの？
圭一より里子へ。交渉は成功。エンジェルモードで俺と奴のデザート食い放題で妥結した。ミオ、問題ないな。
エンジェルモートにデザート食べ放題で2席ね。了解。手配しとくよ。
どういう風に交渉したのか実に気がかりなのです。きっとデザートの美味しい話で盛り上がったに違いないかな。
After that, the game started again. I entered the batter's box as a pinch hitter in place of Mion, but all of the pieces were already in place. Vroom! The straight pitch whipped by me like a bullet, true to its name. The camera people raised their voices in wonder and clicked their shutters. A sharp pitch as always. He's really going places this summer, isn't he? That golf club pinch hitter is standing straight up too. But doesn't Kameda-kun look a little strange? Like he's got a cold sweat or something. I patted my shoulders with my bat, then sneered at him in a relaxed voice.
どうした亀田君、今日は不調かな？
This bitch?
この程度の球じゃ笑っちゃってバットを振る気にもならないぜ。
おのれ。
The next pitch, with the same incredible speed as before, it curved sharply and should have thrown off the batter's skill. But Keiichi didn't move at all. He just watched coolly.
直球投手に小細工は不要だよ、亀田君。こんなカーブに引っかかってくれるのかい？この辺りのバッターは。
Both the reporters and all the people watching noticed something was strange here. Was Ushima Kameda the pitcher who conquered Koshien losing the mental battle? The next straight pitch had incredible speed again, but it went a little wild. It was a ball. I snorted, not even bothering to get ready for it.
どうした亀田君、そんなにど真ん中が怖いのかい？まさか天下の亀田君がフォアボールなんてことはないだろうな。
くそー。
The abnormal, unexpected situation spread confusion throughout the reporters.
何者だよ、あの前原圭一って男は。あの剛速球を前にしてここまでの余裕とは。
叶わないと見て空威張りをしてるだけさ。あんな不真面目そうな男にあの亀田が打たれるはずはない。い
や、私ははったりとは思えないな。超一流は同じく超一流を見抜くという。あの亀田は紛れもなく超一流。ならばこそあの謎の男の進化を見抜けるのだ。
A really business person looking guy took off his sunglasses and gazed upon Keiichi.
まさか本当に？
The idiot pinch hitter who came in cheering them on with a golf club was actually a genius?
きっと本人はもう野球に魅力を失い、ゴルフへ天才スラッガー、ゴルフ界へ移籍か。
What a tremendous loss for baseball. Stop the presses! We're changing up our sports columns.
ボール、これでフルカウントだぞ。
This excessive production was of course all being dramatized by Satoko. The big shots constantly had their eyes on Kameda-kun. If he were to lose easily, they knew that the match would have been fixed. Perhaps she wanted this little play of ours to create a mood where it wouldn't be strange for Kameda-kun to lose, but...
さとこ、これどう見てもやりすぎだぞ。
頑張れてございましたよ、圭一さん。明日の休会はいただきですわ。
I don't want any scouts actually coming after me. I'm terrified of what would happen when the jig is up. Wait, I can't be making nervous faces right now.
ボール、フォアボール。臆したか亀田君、見損なったぞ。
Kameda-kun hung his head in feigned dejection.
ケイさん、これでバッチリ筋書き通りですよね。
ああ、でかしたぞ亀田君。この調子で次のバッターも頼むぞ。こんな試合とっとと終わらせて。
早く食べ放題に行きましょうよ。
Grin. Kameda-kun and I exchanged evil smiles. For some reason, there were a lot of camera flashes right then. It seemed like our dear journalist friends took it as two worthy rivals smiling to acknowledge each other's strength. As I trotted over to first base, the camera flashes continued almost to the point where they were annoying. When I got to first base, one of the reporters came over for an interview.
前原君、この亀田君との決着は甲子園でつけるつもりですか?
Things seemed like they were about to get too big for me. Maybe I should just be honest and confess that I'm not really into baseball.
甲子園？俺は日本球界なんて初めから興味ないんだ。悪いな。
Whoa. This man, right from the start, he was always aiming for the world. He might become Japan's first ever big leaguer. What? The conversation was getting fantastically out of hand. Oh, I don't care anymore. I'll strike a guts pose for the cameras in desperation.
よっしゃ、作戦通りケイちゃんが出塁したね。
次はさとこちゃんの打順だね。どうするんだろう。どうするんだろう。さあ、でっかいホームランでサヨナラ勝ちですわよ。
Satoko stepped up to the plate, waving the bat around. The reporters couldn't hold back their laughter, maybe because they had just seen his battle with me. Maibara-kun finally got on base, but now it's all over. I see, so this is why Kameda-kun intentionally walked him. He didn't even fight it, he waited for an easier opponent for the final out. But to avoid a direct confrontation like that, we cannot make light of him. That Keiichi Maibara.
さあ、亀田さん、いらっしゃいませ。
バカにするな。俺を誰だと思っているんだ。ケイさん。いや、前原さんならともかく、お前ごときに遅れなど取るものか。
Whenever this girl stepped out to bat, she had swung wildly and missed, striking out every single time. This might sound rude, but however much Kameda-kun holds back, I don't think she will be able to hit a home run. I could hear the reporters declaring that there was no way a comeback would happen. Wait, what? Satoko, she swung wildly and missed every single time she stepped up to the bat? She swung after the sound had ended, completely mistiming it. I could hear the disappointed voices coming from those rooting for Hinamizawa, but it's only natural. Every single batter has struck out. Even if worst came to worst, no one would get a hit. And that's why it didn't sound strange when Kameda-kun said this.
お前ごときに本気で投げても仕方がないな。チャンスだ。次の一球は下投げでのんびり投げてやる。一発くらいヒットを打ってお母ちゃんに自慢できる種にさせてやる。
Of course, these lines were all a part of the plot too. From out of the corner of his eye, Kameda-kun gives me a look. Was that all right?
ああ、いい感じだぞ。実にさりげない。亀田、お主も演技派よの。
いえいえ、計算ほどではとてもとても。でへへへ。
Even that exchange was seen as heated and enthusiastic by the reporters.
でも計算、いくら手を抜いて投げても、この子本当に打てるんですかね。
いいからお前は決められた通りに投げろ。俺にはなんとなく分かってる。
Our exchange over, Kameda-kun moved from his sit position into a pitching stance. That's a pretty cool one.
手加減の球を投げなさいな。大ホームランにして差し上げますわ。
She had struck out every time she was at bat. When I heard that, my vague ideas became firm beliefs. and out of Kameda-kun's hand comes a slow, lazy pitch as though they were playing catch. Normal people would probably be able to hit it, but for Satoko, who had been striking out the whole time, just when people start to think that way, the members of our club had already realized that Satoko's trap had begun. It was true. Striking out constantly today had all been laying the groundworks for this moment. An act. All to make it feel like Kameda-kun letting off the gas wasn't strange at all. Which meant, in other words, that Satoko. She got it! Look at it go!
走る必要もありませんわね。
The super huge home run Satoko hit disappeared over the roof of the school. The reporters lost their words at the sight. And then, roars of applause. Despite this being what we had anticipated, I can't help but stare in mute amazement at the gorgeous home run. Satoko strutted over to first base.
ほらほら、何をしてますの、ケイチさん。二塁は向こうでございますのよ。
サトコ、お前野球得意なんだろ。
Satoko grinned, showing her fang-like canines in reply. Come to think of it, she played baseball a lot with Tomita-kun and the other during lunch, didn't she? The fact that they always invited her to play meant that she was by no means a bad at it.
それを全て大振りの凡退だ。しかも亀田くんが登場する前からだろ。たくつくづく最後の最後に何か仕掛けるやつだな。
いつも言ってましたよ。罠は一つ。それも最後の最後で本当にさりげないくらいで十分なんでしたよ。
Damn it, that sounded kinda cool. Basically, she was just bragging about hitting the ball. But when Satoko did it, it looked so cool. We crossed home plate in order, me, then Satoko, and completed our walk-off home run. Our teammates welcomed us back with their blessings. Maibara-san, that was amazing, totally cool. I never thought it would happen. Tomita-kun and Okumura-kun praised me.
どうだ見たかよ富田くん岡村くん。
I didn't actually do anything, it's all Satoko.
見事ひっくり返してやったぜ。
レナもかっこよかったと思うよ。お疲れ
なんのこんなの軽い仕事だぜ。
I briskly clapped my hand against Rena's outstretched palm.
サトコもあっぱれ。
The mastermind, man, what you talking about?
最後は豪快に決めてくれたね。
私を誰だとお思いですの？
Man, can't underestimate her. Satoko Hojo.
ケイちゃんも見事だったよ。よくあの亀田を口説き落とせたね。
口先の魔術師なのです。
A wordsmith, if you will.
リカちゃん、それ褒め言葉じゃないと思うな。
しかし本当に圭一さんでなくてはできない荒技ですわね。私にはとても真似できませんわ。ぜひ今度私にもご教授いただきたいですわね。
あんな荒技をサトコがこなしたら想像するのも恐ろしい。くれぐれも真似はしないでくれよな。
After declaring the match over, the umpire came to us.
いや、まさか本当に勝てるとは。驚きましたよ。
サトコなら打てるって言ったでしょ。全然信じてくれないんだからな。
The umpire scratched his head apologetically and apologized to Satoko, smiling dryly.
それに圭一君だってすごかったでしょ。
What? What? His sprite isn't changing? Is he a completely new addition?
圭一君ってここ一番で本当に頼りになる人なんですよ。
いやー、ゴルフクラブで乱入してきた時は本当に大丈夫かと思いましたけど、あの亀田くんとの行き詰まる攻防は手に汗を握りましたよ。
Right, that breathtaking farce. I quirked a wry smile. Not even the Buddha would have realized that while everyone thought this was a fair match, Kameda-kun and I were thinking about our evil, desert-violating ways.
さて監督、約束ちゃんと覚えてるよね。
これは仕方がありませんね。
What was that about?
やったねやったね。ケイチ君、これで明日はバーベキュー大会だよ。
Rena clapped her hands and we all began to dance with joy. Tomita-kun and our other teammates were jumping up and down too.
なんだなんだ、バーベキュー大会？おいおい、一体どういう話になってるんだ？
今日の試合に勝てたら高級お肉いっぱいのバーベキュー大会を振る舞ってくださるって約束になってましたの。亀田さんの登場で一時は危うかったですが、圭一さんの活躍で見事獲得できましたのよ。
I see. So that's what this was about. It was certainly not a game we could have lost. Wait.
入江は大散罪でかわいそかわいそなのです。
参ったな。でも約束ですからね。
私たちは食うときは情け容赦なく食うからね。何しろ育ち盛りだし。はっいいかいみんな。明日は徹底的に食いまくるよ。
And queens, I guess? All of the members of Hinamizawa fighters raised their fists high in the air and cheered. Rika-chan was petting the head of the umpire, who was smiling painfully at the off-kilter remarks. He gave her his head and looked like he was about to cry. It looked like the price of victory would be pretty big.
参ったな。でも仕方ないね。約束ですから。お肉とかを買いにお買い物に行かないとな。
I guess you should.
監督、約束通り牛肉は高級なのお願いね。
Hook us up with some wagyu, you know what I mean?
野菜ばっかり買って安上がりにしたら許さないからね。
The umpire, whom they were calling Coach, grinned dryly, crestfallen. Umpire? Coach? The uniform he was wearing had Hinamizawa fighters written on it. Oh, so he's not just the umpire, he was actually our team's coach.
前原くんでよかったですか？お名前。
あ、はい。
前原くんの出塁がなければありえない逆転でした。
You wanna join the team?
ぜひ明日のバーベキューにはいらしてください。
Oh, bet.
いやいや、それよりもぜひうちのチームに入りませんか？
No.
あなたとなら喧嘩を制覇できるかも。
監督監督、まあその話は置いといて、今はお財布の心配だけをなさいませ。
Despite the coach being an adult, everyone seemed to get along very well with him. Coach, huh?
よろしくお願いしますね。Hinamizawaファイターズ監督の入江ですよ。
He extended his hand to me. I firmly grasped it with my own in reply.
前原です。よろしく。
Then, the coach took his other hand and began to stroke mine softly. Sir?
すべすべなお手手ですね。
The fuck out of my face.
きめも細かいし、お手入れも実にいい感じです。はあ、さわさわ。
はあ？ちょっと。
当家のメイドたちにもこれくらいの肌のお手入れはするよう、お手入れの悪いメイドたちにはお仕置きお仕置き。
Your maids.
メイド？何の話をしているんですか？
はあ、こんなすべすべな手でご奉仕ご奉仕。はあ。
Bro, the characters in this chapter are all kinds of fucked, aren't they? The coach's eyes were spellbound, and as his delusions floated through his very own original magical universe, he made a supremely satisfied smile. How do I put this? Who the fuck is this guy, man?
面食らってる面食らってる。
監督はちょっと変わってる人なの。
A smidge, mayhaps?
でもとっても面白い人なんだよ。
I felt like you couldn't measure him by saying strange or funny. I really didn't think we would get along. Snap. The other self in my mind made a witty retort for some reason.
ほら、いい加減になさいませ。ケイチさんも嫌がっておりましたよ。
はあ、すべすべ。
The coach didn't try to take his hands off mine until Satoko hit him with a threefold wash bucket attack, causing him to faint. Fuck is going on? Motherfucker obsessed. It was a peaceful lunch break. Thud, clatter, splash.
なんだ？
今廊下からすごいのが聞こえた。なんだろう。
We rushed into the hallway, and to our surprise, Coach was there with a water bucket overturned on his head.
監督、大丈夫？
いやー、やられましたね。
Okay, now he has a sprite. She doesn't have a gun anymore. Interesting.
皆さん、こんにちは。
Coach greets us cool and calm.
どうしたんですか、監督。学校に来るなんて珍しい。
いやー、お仕事の絡みでして。私、毎週学校には来てるんですよ。ここしばらくは何事もなかったので、すっかり油断してました。
さとこちゃんの罠は忘れた頃に来ますからね。大丈夫ですか、服？
いえいえ、ちょうど行水がしたいと思ってたところですからね。実に涼しくて。
さすが監督。ちょっとやそっとのことでは怒らない。
Now those are the ones you gotta be fucking scared of.
その辺が大人って感じだよね。
He was right. If I were Coach, I would have started running around with the bucket still on my head looking for her. His adult way of not getting mad at every little child's prank was admirable.
いいですか、前原さん。こういうのは考え方一つで腹立たしくも愉快にもなるんです。要は受け止め方一つなんですよ。
水バケツを丸ごと食らって、それだけクールにいられる秘訣があるなら、ぜひご教授を願いたいです。
Clearly you've never played Clock Tower before. Stay calm during that.
明治から続く古式ゆかしい旧家があるとします。そこには大勢の使用人としてメイドさんが雇われているとします。もちろん大きな家ですから、ベテランのおつぼね様と化したメイド長から新米のピチピチしたメイドさんまでがたくさんいるのです。ほらほら。
Bitch, that's right. A space filled with dreamy maids in pink and peach adorned with frills and headbands with Coach at their center began to spread out before me.
新米メイドたちはそのピチピチさと初々しさでご主人様の寵愛を一身に。でもそれが先輩メイドたちには許せないのです。
Oh, I can't change the sprite anymore.
ことあるごとに難癖をつけ、いじめていじめていじめ抜いて。ほら、まだこんなに埃が残っていますよ。ああ、すみません。もう一度やり直し。バシャー。バケツを逆さにぶっかけられるメイドさん。びしょ濡れのメイドさんが泣きそうになりながらそれでもけなげに「はあはあメイド
Oh
なん
my
だか知らんけど
god.
楽しそう。レナもメイドさんいいな。
ああ、もう レナまで感化されてきた。ほらケイちゃんもいつまでも監督の世界に浸っていない。
これさえなければ監督も決して悪い人じゃありませんのに。
北条聡子さん発見。聡子さん、これは何ざます？まだ埃が残ってるざますよ。お仕置きざます
Coach plucked Satoko up and started giving her a spanking.
さとこちゃんかい。
天才的な読みでトラップを操る聡子がどうしてこの顛末までは読めないのか実に不思議だぞ。
そうかな。これはさとこちゃんの望んだ結末だと思うな。
She wanted the spanking.
この結末を聡子が望んだ？それはどういう意味だよ。
人にこういういたずらをしたら絶対に相手は怒って追いかけてくるよね。そういうのもコミュニケーションだと思わない？
No, I don't.
そんなコミュニケーションすごく嫌だぞ。普通に挨拶から入ってこんにちはってことにはならんのか。
あれ、ケイチ君聞いたことない？いたずらばかりしてる人ってね、人に構ってもらいたくて仕方がない寂しがり屋さんなんだって。
Rena gave a cool smile and, laughing abruptly, explained.
だからさとこちゃんの罠にかかったらちゃんと怒ったり笑ったりしてさとこちゃんを追いかけてほしいの。そういう猫の甘え髪みたいなの可愛いと思わないかな。
Nope. Fuck that cat.
きっとここで驚いて飛びのきますわ。だからここに仕掛ければ絶対にかかりますの。
Satoko, regaling us with her trap philosophy, was improving the already brutal trap hell on the mountain. If Rena was right and her traps started to get people to pay attention to her, then all of these traps on this mountain were basically a crystallized form of those feelings. Along with Rika-chan setting up trap after trap after trap in the mountains, always waiting for someone to fall into them. But nobody needed to come to this mountain in the first place. Without a doubt, she and Rika-chan had spent a lot of time imagining how victims caught in their traps would react. Satoko, separated for so long from her beloved Nini, Satoshi. With her stubbornness, she never once said that she wanted him to come home. But all the traps sleeping on the mountain told me how Satoko really felt.
聞いてますのケイチさん。
あ、ごめん。
She was immensely lonely.
このように木の幹に釘を一本打ちつけただけでも立派なトラップになるんですのよ。ちょうどあそこで転げてここに額を打ちつければ痛いですわよ。
釘の頭に人間トンカチってわけか。それは痛そうだな。
このトラップはきっと悪い悪人を懲らしめる強力なトラップになりますわよ。
そこでなんで俺をチラチラ見るんだよ。俺にこれに引っかかってほしいと思ってんのか。さすがにこれは大怪我するぞ。このトラップはちょっとやめとけ。
そうですの？まあ確かに愛がないトラップはダメでございますからね。ではその悪党もちゃんと改心したらかからないように少し釘の位置を。
Satoko immersed herself in adjusting the nail's position. Traps of love, huh? Maybe Coach was right. Just by reacting a little differently, everything changes. Come to think of it, maybe you can feel humor and warmth even when Satoko's traps get you.
できましたよ。この絶妙な位置でしたら完璧ですわ。いかがです、ケイチさん？
あ、完璧だな。このトラップに引っかかる悪党が現れるといいな。
現れない方がいいに決まってますわ。
It looked a little painful, but I considered coming here sometime and getting caught in it. And with that, we are going to call it an episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode and this project as a whole up until this point. I hope to see you guys next time, man. I'm out of here. Love y'all and deuces.